Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Daddy's Barbecue Pit. This week, we got the holidays fast approaching. We're gonna show you our take on a sweet potato casserole. Get you some. Okay, so to get this recipe started, you can use 4 to 5 sweet potatoes. It's gonna depend really on the size. You wanna give these a real good wash. And then we're simply gonna come through and just give them a prick on the outside all the way around each one of these sweet potatoes. And we're gonna roast these uncovered in our oven at 400 degrees for about an hour and a half or until they're fork tender. Now, once they're done and they're fork tender, you're gonna wanna pull them out, let them cool. These things will be smoking hot, you'll burn your hands. Let them cool, and then we're gonna move on to the next step, show you what topping we're gonna put on it, and then we'll start on our sweet potatoes. Okay, we're gonna start first with our topping while our potatoes are cooling here. So we got 1 cup of halved pecans we're gonna put in our bowl. We got a full cup of brown sugar. That's light brown sugar. We got 1/3 of a cup of flour, AP flour, and then a 1/3 cup of melted butter. Salted or unsalted, it doesn't matter. So we're gonna go ahead and just mix this real good. Right, make sure we coat those pecans really well. And this is gonna be the crumble that we're gonna use for the topping on our sweet potatoes. You wanna make sure that all that flour is incorporated and that these pecans are covered evenly. Now we're just gonna leave these sit. I'm gonna cover them and we're gonna put them in the refrigerator until we're ready for them on top of our sweet potatoes. Okay, so our sweet potatoes have cooled completely. We're just gonna go ahead and cut these ends off here. And I'm just gonna peel these back. It's not real hard to do. You may need to use a knife a little bit, but we're just gonna get these all the skin off of these guys. We got our oven back down to 350 right now. Once we mix this up, we will get this put in the oven. We're gonna let it cook for about 25 minutes. And at that point, we're gonna add our topping. Now, if you wanted to do this prior to an event you're having at your home, you can always do up until the point where you put the topping on and stop. That way you can freeze it or do whatever you'd like and get it back out when your event's ready to happen and put the topping on. So we're just gonna go ahead and continue to do these. So we have our 4 to 5 sweet potatoes cooked and skinned. Now we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna give them just a little bit of a mash here. Get them broke down a little bit. You see how I'm doing that? And then we're gonna go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients to this. We're actually gonna use our hand mixer to really get this really nice and super smooth, creamy and fluffy. So we got that really just a rough mash done on that. We're gonna go ahead and whip 2 eggs. Pour them in. We got 1 whole stick of melted butter, 1 cup of white sugar, teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of salt. We like to put this Flavor God on top of ours. It's a buttery cinnamon flavored seasoning. We're gonna put a tablespoon of that in there. If you have regular cinnamon or anything like that, a seasoning that would work good for it would be perfect. So we're just gonna go ahead. Now we're zesting 1 lime up. We're gonna get that in there.
Lime or lemon?
Excuse me, 1 lemon. The zest of 1 lemon. It's gonna brighten up those flavors a little bit. You got that? And now we're gonna hit it with our hand mixer. We're gonna start out slow with this guy. Or not at all. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. use our hand mixer and get this nice and smooth. Okay, so we got a 3-quart baking dish here. We're just gonna give this some butter on here to keep it from sticking. You can use cooking spray, Pam, anything like that you have. You don't have to use butter. We're just gonna give this a real good coat. And now we're gonna put our sweet potato mixture into our dish. It's gonna give this, make sure we got a nice even in this baking dish. We're gonna bake this at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes. Once it's done, we're gonna pull it out and we're gonna add our crumble topping, and we're gonna put it back in for another 15 minutes or until those pecans have gotten nice and brown and candied. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in our oven, get this on, set the timer for 25 minutes, and we're gonna check it. Okay, so we have baked our sweet potatoes for about 35 to 45 minutes, and you can tell it's got a little bit of a, there's some resistance there. It's got a little bit of a crust on top. That's what we want. We want it to hold our basically our candied pecan topping up on top and not fall down into the sweet potatoes. But the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hit it with some more of this cinnamon seasoning we have here. Just give it a little coat on top. And then we had our pecans that we had covered with the sugar and the butter and the flour. We had those in the fridge and they set up real nice. And now we're just gonna use your hand for this and just spread these out evenly on top and give a nice even coat. Okay, so we're just gonna come back across the top one more time because we can with this cinnamon seasoning we have. And you do not have to use this. You can just use plain old mixture of cinnamon and sugar at home if that's what you have. We're gonna go ahead and stick this guy back in the oven. Again, we're still running at 350 and we're gonna go about 15 minutes on this. You wanna start watching it. There's a lot of sugar on there and it will burn. So just be careful. You want to get it to a real nice golden brown. It's going to get real ooey and gooey, and we're going to enjoy this here in a little bit. Okay, we've had, oh boy, look at this. We've had 15, 20 minutes on setting our topping on this with the pecans and the sugar. Man, I wish you could be here to smell this. This thing smells amazing, looks amazing. You hear that sound? Ooh, yeah. We're gonna let this thing sit over here and cool for about 15 minutes. It looks amazing. Okay, everybody, we have let this cool for about 15 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and scoop a big section of this out and give it a try. It looks amazing, smells great. I'm really anxious to take a bite of this. So we're gonna go in here and I wanna get a little bit of the pecan, some of that sweet potato and some of that sugary crust. Man, it smells so good. Them pilgrims weren't eating anything like this, I can tell you that. Unbelievable. Blasting with flavor. Those sweet potatoes are so nice and fresh. Just the right amount of sugar. The seasoning was perfect. Real tasty. I think you'll enjoy this with any of your holiday meals, but give it a try this Thanksgiving. We appreciate it. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think about this video. Get you some. Oh man. I'm gonna do one more bite. I'm gonna tap out. Mmm.